Howdy, Space Cowboys. Today I wanted to use the popular video game franchise Fallout, particularly Fallout 3 and 4, to demonstrate the theory of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I chose to create this video to apply psychological concepts in grounded real-world scenarios to give you, the viewer, practical examples of psychology in action for concepts that often get too abstract for classrooms and textbooks. I intend to demonstrate this in a way that you not only understand the information, but internalize it and be able to effectively identify or even create your own examples. According to the website Bite-Sized Learning, Abraham Maslow suggests that our human needs can be organized into a clear hierarchy, each tier representing a different source of human motivation. From bottom to top, the levels are our physiological needs, safety needs, social and belonging needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. The key idea, according to Maslow, is that the lower level needs must be satisfied before higher level needs can become motivators. After that overview, let's take each tier individually with some examples. Keep in mind that the tiers become more abstract as we move up, so the examples will reflect as such. In both Fallout 3 and 4, you begin the game exiting the vault. Aside from the clothes on your back, you'll likely have very few supplies. A gun, a baton, maybe a couple of bottles of Nuka-Cola and cans of pork and beans. But once you have your first encounter with an enemy, or simply wandering around for a few hours, especially if you're utilizing Fallout 4 survival mode, it begins to dawn on you that you need some essentials. Stim packs, food, and water are all obvious needs, but you also need to avoid highly irradiated areas and to find a rotted mattress or a sleeping bag to pass the night away and wake up rested if you want to survive even one day in this harsh wasteland. These concerns must be addressed if you want to be capable of pursuing any mission effectively, as these are your basic biological needs. Now that you have survived a couple of in-game days, you likely have spent much time gaining items and survival skills, a few new outfits, a handful of caps, more than likely stumbled upon Megaton or enlisted the Minutemen to help rebuild Sanctuary. Well, now we're starting to get somewhere, right? Well, hold your two-headed cattle for just a moment. There's still plenty to do before we can call this wasteland a waste home. You have scraped by sleeping on random, dilapidated mattresses scattered throughout the wild. But when will you have a dilapidated mattress to call your own? You will only be well rested, knowing that you are safe and secure. In Fallout 3, it may be your goal to own a home in Megaton, so that you may have secure storage areas and a reliable bed with all the security, shops, and resources that come with an established settlement. In Fallout 4, you are likely building any assortment of long-term safety measures, whether that be walls, turrets, a reliable source of potatoes and water, and even electricity and fires to cook food. Around this time, you have probably already begun to fill out a network of people that you may call friends. From fan favorite Dog Meat, to Moira, to Jericho. From Piper to Nick. Oh look, Dog Meat's back again. This is probably a good time to remind you of how these tiers build off of one another. If one does not address their basic biological functions, they cannot hope to achieve any other tier. It is highly unlikely that you will concern yourself with making new friends if you are unsure of where your next meal will come from. History has shown us, time and time again, that the most optimal way to survive isn't on our own, but with cooperation, with family, friends, and co-workers that go on to build tribes, cities, and societies. As you'll see in this next tier, it is impossible to have a social status and reputation if there are no social networks. I think a good way to visualize this tier is about the moment you realize that this game is not so much the gritty survival horror it seemed like when you were 13 years old, looking at this box art that you got from your uncle on Christmas, reading the game guide about cannibalism and undead radioactive ghouls in an apocalyptic hellscape for the first 20 or so hours of you playing the game, to what Fallout actually is at its core. A campy critique of late-stage capitalism, a retro-futuristic society where Vault-Tec cloned 54 Garys, because reasons.
Gary!
And Mo Cronin thinks that baseball used to be a Coliseum-esque blood sport where the players fought to the death. All while old, vaguely sexual jazz played softly in the background.
Rocket 69, Rocket 69.
Or is that just me? Surely it's not just me. Anyways, this is when you start to get into the groove of the game. We all know what self-esteem is, but in the context of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it means having a reputation or a social status. It is a confidence that you belong in a group or society. Whether that's being part of the band, the school play, being on a basketball team, or being a manager at your job. In Fallout, it is being the general of the Minutemen, or a pivotal aspect of the Brotherhood of Steel, or Railroad, or whatever other faction you chose to uphold. Our final tier is also the most abstract, because there's only one person who can define it: you. Textbooks often define this as reaching our true potential, or being our most authentic self. But what does that actually mean in practice? Well, through the lens of Fallout, this is the roleplay aspect of being a role-playing game. You now have all the tactics and resources to play the game pretty much however you desire. Are you a shy tech nerd, a vigilante bounty hunter, or a backstabbing mercenary who blew up Megaton just for some fancy room in some fancy hotel? Yes, I'm looking at you. While this same logic applies to real life, most people never even reach this level. The choice is up to you whether you are just surviving or truly living. You will never be satisfied trying to live up to the expectations of your friends, parents, teachers, or society. You will only reach self-actualization when you are confident and happy with yourself. Well, congratulations. You have completed Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you will be happy to hear that you are now the most authentic version of yourself. But seriously, guys, if you have made it this far, I just want to thank you so much. This is my first video, so I know it's a little bit more on the basic side, but I hope I have helped you understand this topic a little bit better. Please like and comment. All constructive criticism is welcome, and I will be back as soon as I can to bring you another video exploring more psychological concepts through real-world examples. See ya!
This program was made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.